Welcome to Stories from the Center of the Universe, the podcast about the human experience.
All right, we're back for a discussion around the wild card round and then predict the divisional round. Zach, I'm going to do the reveal, if that's okay, on how everybody, or at least how one person did. Zach and I were talking before y'all hopped on, and certainly before we started recording. He goes, I'll just tell you that one person went 8 for 8 predicting college football in the 6 games in the NFL playoffs. And I said, I remember Jack and Rob picked Pittsburgh, right? Because I thought that was a homer move. It was a heart pick for both of them. So I knew they missed at least one, and I knew I missed at least 2. And so I'm like, so Zach, was it you that went 8 for 8? He goes, yes.
Yeah. I didn't want to spoil it, but
no, it's all good.
You killed it, dude.
You deduced. All right, so clearly you were the best in predicting last week's or this past weekend's games.
It's the first and only time I'll ever do that.
No. So Zach, I think the genetic code for us is we're better in the playoffs than we are during the regular season. Maybe that's what's going on.
That's a fair trade-off, yeah.
Yeah. Now I say that not having known how I did fully.
I know I
missed these 2.
You want me to say it?
Yeah, go ahead.
The rest of you all tied. You all missed 3 out of 8, so you went 5 for 8, including the college.
Right, yeah. Good call.
All right, so hold on. Review which games we missed.
So we all got LA beating Carolina. We all got Chicago beating Green Bay. Dad, you were the only one who picked Jacksonville over Buffalo.
Damn
we all got San Fran over Philly. You 3 picked LA over. Oh wait, Jack told me to switch one. I forgot. Which one was that?
I swapped to Green Bay,
Jack
so
to Green Bay.
I'm feeling pretty
Okay.
terrible about that because that was a surefire winner until the 3-minute mark in the third quarter.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys picked LA, and then Dad, you and I picked Houston over Pittsburgh, and then we all picked Indiana, and then I got lucky with Miami.
You did get lucky. No, I'm just kidding. Freaking can't stand those mofos. Excuse my language.
Well, that was crazy talk. You saying mofos is crazy talk, Rob.
It is. I know.
Yeah. Zach, do you think you're just better at predicting playoffs than the rest of us?
You trying to boost my ego?
No, I want a sincere answer to the question.
No, I don't. It was all luck. It's all just.
It's entirely luck.
Yeah,
entirely luck. All right. Let's start with predicting the final. Well, who's going to win the college football playoffs on Monday, and what's the score? And who wants
we did
to go
those last week?
Did we do the score though?
We didn't do the score, but we didn't have the final 2 teams.
Did we say?
So we can re-predict if we want.
Yeah, let's re-predict.
Okay.
I'll go first. I'm Indiana, 38-17.
Wow.
Not a wow. Their first 2 games in the college football playoffs, and granted, they're playing top teams. The team that they beat in the first round,
Alabama,
had to win a game to get into that game, and they're a top 10 team, arguably. And then the game they win the next week is a Final Four team, and they outscored them by 69 points in those 2 games. I mean, Cignetti has figured out how to get grown men to take on kids in the rest of college football. I've never seen anything like this. And obviously the NIL and the transfer portal have a lot to do with this. Have everything to do with it, actually.
That's what they've actually said, is that he focused more on the portal than grabbing 4 or 5 stars out of high school, and that's why he's got the team he's got this year.
Who's better than a 5-star 18-year-old? A 3-star when he was 18 that's now like a 7-star as a senior, as a 23-year-old.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Good times. All right. So I went first. Who wants to go second?
Oh. I'll go IU, and I'm going to go 41-13.
Wow. All right, Jack.
That's my dream, at least.
I understand.
I'm going to go with Indiana 34-13.
All right.
I'm going to go Indiana as well. 34-16.
Interesting. 3 field goals.
Yes.
Or 1 field goal and a missed extra point. All right. Now, if Miami wins, I don't want to be within 6 states of Michael Irvin.
Yeah.
I've got to be like on a different coast.
Or
Michael.
Regulus.
Do you listen to Michael Irvin regularly?
I don't listen to him at all. I watch his behavior on the sideline.
Yeah.
Well,
You think he'll ever be in Virginia?
you're going to be on the same coast. I can tell you that. And let's see, North Carolina, South Carolina. Yeah, you're going to be within 6 states. I hate to
No, I'm going to have to travel. I'm going to have to move.
You're
Not
gonna
move
go
permanently, but move for a couple of months somewhere.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, very good.
All right, y'all ready to talk about the games this past weekend?
Yeah, let's roll.
By the way, they were all pretty darn entertaining. They were all close, and not surprising. But we'll go in chronological order or how they played the games. And we're going to rotate initial commentary the way we rotate our predictions. And so I'm going to say a game, and then we're going to start with whoever I pick first, and then we'll follow our normal rotation. Is that cool?
Sounds good.
Because I assume we all watched every game or at least saw highlights of every game.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, Zach, man, you're going to have to
I
spend some
know.
more time watching TV.
I've been busier than I thought I would be.
All right. Well, look, Rob and I can tell you what busy is, and
I've seen highlights obviously, and I've seen the scores.
All right, so you understand generally what happened.
Yeah.
All right, so we won't start with Zach. We'll let Zach warm up into this. We'll start with Jack, if you're cool with that. Rams, Panthers, 4 lead changes in the fourth quarter, which was awesome football to watch. Jack, take it.
Yeah, it was much closer than I think a lot of people felt. I thought the Rams came out and they were playing pretty good ball, and then they kind of hit a little dud towards the end of the game. I think Carolina played much better than a lot of people anticipated, and maybe we're just giving the Rams too much credit at this point. I thought that their defense was going to play much better. They gave up 31 points. If they give up 31 points to any other team left in the NFC, I don't see a chance of them really winning a game.
Yeah, great point. I like the fact that the NFC South at least gave a good game as the 4 seed, because usually the 4 seed is kind of this team that limps into the playoffs, maybe has a 9-8, 10-7, or in Carolina's case, 8-9 record. But I was happy they fought, made it an entertaining game. If you didn't care who won, and I didn't care who won that game, it was quite entertaining. Rob or Zach, any thoughts on that game?
Just an awesome game. I mean, it was a great start to the playoffs, and it just kept going, for the next 3 games. And then we had a couple games that weren't, well, they were close at times. But anyway, so just a heck of a way to start, I thought. And, yeah, I agree with Jack. I did not expect Carolina to, even though Carolina thought.
Zach, are they frozen for you too?
Yes.
Jack looks normal, and Rob looks like he really wants to say something but can't get it out.
I can go ahead with what I was going to say. I think not a lot of people expected the Panthers to win this game, but if you look at how they match up pretty well against LA. I mean, LA kind of has some bigger receivers. Puka and Devontae is not small. Carolina has some big corners, and Carolina also has some big receivers, which match up pretty well against LA's small corners. I think the big thing was Carolina's O-line was just not as good as, and it hasn't been good all year, but it's not as good of an offensive line as you would expect from a playoff team. They gave up like twice as many pressures as LA's offensive line gave up, and Bryce Young's a mobile quarterback, but he's not this like Patrick Mahomes, Caleb Williams, move around the pocket, move outside the pocket, and then throw a dime on the run kind of guy. And he played well, given the circumstances, but LA's just got too much talent, I think, and that's why they won.
Yeah, to Jack's point, and I think to a point Rob might have made, but Rob, you froze on our end, so we couldn't hear you anymore. LA's kind of limping right now. I mean, yeah, they won the game, but I don't have a whole lot of faith that they're going to go much further. In fact, we'll talk about the upcoming games, obviously, here in a little bit. But I don't even know.
Do we have any idea what happened with LA? Because they looked dominant in the first half of the season.
Yeah, Jack,
do you think it's just
I think some injuries kind of messed them up on the offensive side of the ball. I think Kyron got hurt a little bit. Blake Corum got hurt, so they're kind of tandem back. It got messed up. And then having to rely on Puka Nacua without Devontae Adams, I think kind of throws a wrench in it. I believe one of their tight ends got hurt, so I think that they're just dealing with injuries. It really shouldn't be that big of an excuse considering the stuff that San Fran's doing with all their injuries. So I don't really know. Their defense was really, really good at the beginning of the year, and I think that they just have been lulled to sleep a lot, and then they just give up 30-plus points. So I'm not really quite sure what's going on with them from the defensive side of the ball. Their offense can play with anyone, though, in my opinion.
Yeah, injuries and then coming back from injuries, receivers, running backs, they're just not going to be amazing first game back kind of thing. And Devontae, I think, was the first game back, right? Did Rob and Jack freeze again?
No,
They're back now. Y'all froze again. Maybe we could have heard you, but you're definitely video freezing. All right, Rob, because you're going to lead off this time, assuming you don't freeze, we're going to hop to the one of the two games that was not close. And I'll just say, look, I kind of want my friends' teams to win. I kind of want them to lose. It's about a 60-40. 60 that I want my friends' teams to win, but when they lose, I'm okay with that too. And so the two kind of blowouts were Texans, Steelers, Patriots, Chargers. So yeah, you and Duke's teams lost. Now, what your response should be, I'm going to beat you to the punch. My team sucks so bad they couldn't get into a 14-team playoffs. So anyway, take it away on the Steelers team.
I would never say that. So, which one do you want me to do?
Steelers.
Yeah, I mean 7-6 at halftime. I think Rodgers just didn't have enough time throughout the night. I mean, you got to give Texans defense all the credit in the world, but just thinking Arthur Smith would have been a little bit better prepared. There were some plays that we ran that, I mean, we had a 10-yard run on the first play with Jalen. We had the quick screen to DK, and he got 15, 16 yards. I don't know why I kept sticking with that. And then, I mean, DK was open. Austin was open. The combo, 3 or 4 times, they were open for 40-yard passes. And at that time, then, our offensive line just couldn't give Rodgers that extra second or second and a half he needed to step into it and make the throw. But, I mean, they showed it. 3 or 4 times we had 2 steps on them, and you got to imagine that Rodgers probably would have hit 1 or 2 of those at least. So tough game. Yeah, I just there at the end. I don't know. I don't know if we were in give up mode or whatever, and that led to the 2 defensive touchdowns. But I think that offensive touchdown kind of took the air out of us a little bit because we're not a comeback. We're generally not a comeback team. I mean, we had the crazy game against Baltimore, but that's rare. So,
yeah, Jack, I think you said last week that if we get down a couple scores, we're in trouble.
Yeah. Once it was 17-6, I just cut off the game.
No, I get it. What are your thoughts on the game?
I thought our defense played pretty well, all in all, for quite a while. And then the defensive score, I think that just killed us then and there. Missed calls all around. I thought Rodgers got hit in the head on the fumble, but that's neither here nor there. Still got given up in return. So the protection wasn't great. I thought it's always going to be tough going up against a defensive line or a whole defense like that as a whole. I just feel like we could have played a little bit better. I thought we got away from the running game too early because in the third quarter, we only had 11 total rushes for the entire game. I think being so pass reliant with Aaron Rodgers, who's 42, and only having DK Metcalf and Pat Freiermuth for the most part, I just didn't think that it was going to be very, very successful. And then obviously we gave up that score, and that was kind of the end of the game for me. But I thought we played decent in the first half. It was 7-6, and then we gave up 23 points in the third and fourth quarter.
Yeah, I think running 11 times total, regardless of who your offense is, you're basically begging for them to think pass every time.
Yeah.
And believing that they can stop the run even though they're expecting the pass. I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and one thing that got under my skin with it was we took the play clock down so low so many times that it's really only one thing that you can do and just fire off the ball.
Yeah.
Like it's a massive difference to snap the ball with 8 seconds left on the clock compared to there being one or none on the clock, and everyone can just get off the ball. And I think that just puts our offense at a massive disadvantage.
Yeah, totally agree. Let's pivot real quickly. Stay with the Steelers, but this idea that the Steelers are looking for their fourth head coach since 1970. And Zach and Jack, spoiler alert, Rob and I were alive in 1970, but we don't remember the beginning of Chuck Noll coaching the Steelers. I mean, that's incredible. 3 coaches total. And in a year, Tomlin's leaving Pittsburgh, where 3 of the 4 coaches in that division are leaving, and it's probably – the one that remains maybe should have been the first one to go. I mean, it's just kind of wacky, but I'd love, Rob, we'll start with you because you remember most of this stretch from 70 to now.
Yeah.
Can you believe you're looking for a fourth coach?
Well, I mean, I kind of wish we weren't. I guess I thought a good 20 years would have been a good round out for him, but I can understand. I think he, made a decision that he thought was best for the organization. I believe that in my heart. But
well, do you think he made the decision?
Well, I think that the Steelers, I've always said this, and it's not because I'm a fan of them. People that hate the Steelers say they're a class organization. So I believe the Rooneys possibly, offered him the opportunity to step down. I think that's a distinct possibility. I don't know. It could have been his decision too. I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah, it's been an incredible run. I mean, Noel, then Cowher, then Tomlin. I mean, it's been nuts. Like you said, 69, 70 season all the way until now. It just doesn't happen. So I hope we can find somebody good. I don't, somebody was telling me, our team is older. So I'm not sure we get somebody that's going to, stick around that long the next time, but I hope we don't get which I don't think we will. I hope we don't get in a coaching carousel like some organizations get into. So, but yeah,
well,
I'm sad.
Rob, you're the only franchise in football that's avoided that for the last 5.5 decades.
Yeah. Right. For the last, 55 years. So anyway, but yeah, it's going to be tough to find somebody, to fill those shoes. There's 3 guys, not just Tomlin, of the history.
We'll be okay with it. Oh, never mind. I understand what you're saying.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, so for me, if I'm the Rooneys, I'm like, man, you've had a ton of winning seasons back to back, or non-losing seasons. I think they went 8-8 one year, but non-losing seasons or winning seasons, we'll call it. Just an incredible that level of positive consistency is kind of unheard of, right? Most teams go through cycles. Now, we've talked about this a few times. Do you want to be the team that goes 9-8, 10-7 every year, goes into the playoffs, maybe wins a game, maybe doesn't?
Right.
And thinking about Tomlin, they haven't won a playoff game since 17. I mean, that's a long time for a franchise like the Steelers. It's a long time for any franchise, actually. And so I think that probably not winning a game since 17 said the Rooneys were like, you know what, we have way more patience than any other ownership group. Like, hey, Mike, you want to step down, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that's entirely possible. And I saw a little blip thing today, and it's like you said. I mean, 193 wins, a Super Bowl. 12 playoff appearances in 19 years. And like you said, 0 losing seasons in 19 years, which will never happen again. I can't think that's a record that will never be broken. But yeah, I mean, and I hope they can find somebody that still keeps, that great culture, with a few changes obviously need to be made, but anyway, we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Right. I was going to pivot to Jack, but Jack has left the
Sorry, you
camera.
got a phone call.
No,
Sorry.
this stuff happens. It's all good. Zach, I'm going next, but you need to tell me what game you want to talk about, and then I'm going to talk about one of the remaining three.
All right.
Do you want to talk about Green Bay, Chicago?
I can talk about whatever one.
All right. Well,
I can talk about San Fran, Philly.
All right. Well, then I'll talk about the game that I did not pick correctly, and then you'll go after me, Zach. The
right.
Bills Jaguars. It was a kind of felt like a heavyweight fight, and I was happy to see Jacksonville, who's not a perennial heavyweight. I mean, they've never really been a heavyweight. I was glad to see them slugging it out
They were 8 years ago.
Fair enough. But
year.
okay, but it's still a fairly new thing for them, and
Yeah.
and that the current team as constructed, they don't understand 8 years ago, right? There might be one or two players from that team. It was nice to watch them slug it out. It was a typical two heavyweights going at each other, and I'm like, wow, there's slightly over a minute left. Trevor Lawrence has had a career-changing regular season. This is going to be his drive. And the first play, when they get the ball back, he throws a pick, and he threw into double coverage. And if the first guy, if I remember the play correctly, one guy should have caught it, didn't, and it went to the second guy. Like, two guys had a better chance from Buffalo of catching that pass than the receiver did. And I'm like, what happened? I can understand not seeing both of them, but you didn't see either one of them when you made that pass. And the last minute of a game, or even any point in a game, is not the time to do this blind sort of, I'm going to start throwing the ball before I actually see what's going on sort of thing. And I'm not sure that he either went blind in the moment or he was making that pass a little earlier than he needed to. And I get it. Tenths of a second matter when you're passing the football in the NFL. And I don't know what receiver that was in his progression, but that just seemed like a really rough way to end the game if you're Jacksonville, or even if you're just a general fan. That just was a huge letdown. And by the way, that's the one thing in the NFL that I'm not a huge fan of, and then I'll shut up. This idea that you can get to a minute 58, the other team's exhausted all their timeouts, and then you just take a knee for the last minute 58. That drives me crazy. But anyway, so they took a knee for the last. I think they had snapped the ball a couple of times. Jacksonville, I think, will be back. I think they're still young enough to make a difference. If Buffalo does, and I know this is, everybody says this, but I'll say it anyway. If Buffalo can't win the Super Bowl this year, I don't think the Josh Allen thing is ever going to win a Super Bowl. This year is perfect for him to win a Super Bowl, even though they're not the perfect team. But my gosh, you don't have any veteran quarterbacks in your way. All right, I'll stop talking. You guys have any thoughts on that game?
Yeah. I think regardless of how that last play happened, I think if you're a Jacksonville fan, you're satisfied with this season. Like you were saying earlier, they're not a heavyweight. They're kind of like Tampa in the sense that they're in a bad division and they usually don't do much. But every once in a while, they'll do something. I think Trevor Lawrence this season has proved that he's earned his contract, whatever that is. I just know it's big. People have been making fun of that contract for the last couple of years now, but he's earned it. And people are forgetting that they did all this season without their second overall pick in Travis Hunter, who was starting to look like a very solid pick before he got hurt. So I think you're excited going into next year if you're a Jacksonville fan, and losing a tough game to a really good team and potentially a Super Bowl winner is not the end of the world.
Right on. Rob, any thoughts on the game?
No, all points well spoken. I think I'll say Allen was getting the what kicked out of him. I think everybody thought in the stadium, the announcers, the entire TV audience thought he had a concussion there that one time when they took him down. But he's a big, tough dude, and he got through it. And I tend to agree with you, Paul. I wonder if he doesn't get it done this year, if he's goes down like Marino, where he's one of the best ever eventually, but never got that Super Bowl ring kind of deal. So
yeah, I mean, he's obviously a gamer. I went on a rant last week about how he can't make the throw, as consistently as he should in late in games. He usually does it with his feet, and he does it with his arm a fair amount. I don't want to take that away from him, but I mean, if you want to win a Super Bowl, I think doing it with your feet mostly is not a winning formula for the Bills. We'll see how this progresses.
All
right,
right,
Zach.
The worst version of Jim Kelly?
No, Jim Kelly could throw the ball, man.
No, I'm saying, is he a worse version of Jim Kelly?
Well, Jim got to 4 in a row, right?
Yeah.
You mean
Josh
because he
hasn't been
never
to one
even
yet.
got to one? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have to get to 4
I'm
and
just
win,
saying.
or at least 3 and win 1 before he's better than Jim Kelly, in my opinion. I mean,
He
Jim
doesn't
Kelly.
have an MVP, though. I'm just being facetious, but he doesn't have an MVP.
Fair enough. Aaron Rodgers has 17 MVPs in one Super Bowl, like whatever.
Yeah.
And by the way, just since you referenced Jim Kelly was a middle linebacker playing quarterback and had a hose for an arm.
So is Josh Allen.
No, I understand, but Jim Kelly's been to 4 and he's been to 0.
Well, that's
All right.
the point of my original question. All right.
Fair enough. What game are you going to, Zach? Which one do you?
We can go to San Fran, Philly. I just wanted to talk about it real quick because I think it's funny how Philly has more talent than at probably every position, almost every position than San Fran does, and they still found a way to lose the game. And I think we don't talk about it enough how important coaching is in really any sport, but especially football with schemes and all that. Shanahan is a wizard for offensive play calling. I mean, I don't know how he does it. Demarcus Robinson was their wide receiver 1 that game. He had 6 receptions for 100 yards. It was a great game, but he's not like this uber talented receiver. I mean, he's a role player, really. He's not A.J. Brown. He's not Devontae Smith. And somehow San Fran was making it work, and Philly couldn't get anything done. I mean, San Fran, they got like 5 yards a play on their first down drives, and Philly somehow ended up in like 2nd and 11, 3rd and 11 every drive. So that's why they won the game. I think it was coaching. Philly has been in this weird cycle of, collapse and then great season and then collapse and then great season. And now they're back to collapse, and who knows what they'll do next year. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Just the difference between talent and coaching.
Yeah, I didn't follow the Eagles that closely, but I think I followed them closely enough to know that. And look, we have to remind ourselves they were the defending champs. They're not defending anymore, obviously, since they lost. But Zach, to your point, they're very talented. They relied pretty heavily on Saquon, and that opens up the passing game beautifully. I mean, when you have a year like Saquon had last year, and you have that kind of talent, you should go far in the playoffs. And they had a good defense. This year, they didn't use Saquon hardly at all that I could tell. I think the stats probably bear that out. And I'm like, are you overthinking? Like you think you have to win the Super Bowl a completely different way the next time around? And oh, by the way, there's a strong whiff from Philly that the locker room is in rough shape. And I'm not just talking about A.J. Brown saying supposedly whatever.
They had no faith in the play calling, and that's why Petula was fired, I think.
Yeah, you're probably right. Rob, any thoughts on that game?
On a side note, Sirianni calling 3 timeouts in a row at the end of the game and making Purdy take a 1-yard loss on each one of them went from 27 to 24 yards on my betting, and I needed 25, and he cost me an 8-team parlay or 8 parlay. So,
all right, Rob, I'll just say this: I don't disallow gambling talk or fantasy football talk, Zach.
No,
I strongly encourage us not bringing that up. But I get it.
Next season, we should allow that.
I know the rule, Gilly. I just had to bring that up real quick because it was devastating. So anyway,
Rob, that wasn't a rule. But I watched you do parlays this past weekend. You have like 19 out there. So yeah, occasionally one of them's going to be really close and heartbreaking.
That's right. I hear you. Good call. Well, that one was only 8. But anyway, so hey, yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of Philly, so I was perfectly happy with San Francisco winning, even though I've never, anyway. And I really like McCaffrey. I like Purdy. So I was happy to see the result. It was that was the 4th game, in the first 4 games, and it was with the Chicago Green Bay game, it was the most points differential with 4. The other 2 were 3. So just thought the first 4 games were awesome. So I was happy to see another close one there. But yeah, it's they're in for you talk about being out talented, Zach. I think they're in for a real battle again this weekend. And they're going to be out talented again, and we'll see if they can find a way to show up and win. But
yeah, and by the way, Zach, you made the comment, and I agree with it, that they're better at every skill position on offense.
It's almost every position on the field.
No. Well, but
almost not all of them.
McCaffrey popped into my head given how he played in that game, and I'm like, Saquon's still a better running back, but man, is McCaffrey maybe the best Swiss Army knife to come out of the backfield ever.
You could argue either way for McCaffrey versus Barkley. That's the one position, and you could also argue maybe, depending on your opinion on Jalen Hurts, that Purdy is better or Hurts is better. It doesn't matter. But almost every other position, like they've got better receivers, better offensive line. Fred Warner's out, so better linebackers, better secondary.
Yeah, you're right. It came down to coaching. You're right, absolutely right. All right, Rob, do you want to go Chicago, Green Bay, or New England Chargers? I give it to Jack, but he's not here.
Well, he just walked past. He said do New England Chargers because he's got something to say. So, yeah, you said it earlier. It was sad to see, Duke's team lose, especially since he was there. I texted him one time, I think at halftime. I said, I hope you guys have a great second half. And I think he got back to me the next day and said, we didn't have a good second half. So, but he still had a good time, he said. But, yeah, and I like the Pats a little bit more now because they're not winning as much, but they are winning again. I totally thought they were still paper tigerish, but they're starting to grow on me a little bit. I think they're in for a really tough game this weekend with the Texans defense coming to town. We'll see what young Drake May is made of. But yeah, LA and Pittsburgh just didn't show up with offense. And I think from what I understand, Herbert is getting a little bit of a reputation of, not being able to, get it done when it counts, kind of like we were almost saying about Allen, and we'll just have to see how that continues to go. But I hate that because he's a really, really talented young quarterback, and I'd like to see him have a little more success. But
yeah, he's 5 years in. There's 32 teams in the league. It's hard to go deep into the playoffs every year, or even once every third or fourth year. I think that entire game came down to, and I didn't know this about New England, and it's why I said they're a paper tiger. I'll go with what you said, Rob. I'll go paper tiger-ish. They put a ton of pressure in Herbert's face, and I think we have to give some credit to their front seven, but you also have to understand that may have been a generationally worst offensive line. I mean, like in 25 years than we've ever seen. I mean, nobody breaks into the top 25 at their position across the league, across those five interior linemen. That's insanity. And the fact that Herbert –
You're talking about the Chargers?
Yeah, the Chargers' offensive line is awful. And the fact that Herbert took them to the playoffs is, I think, a miracle.
Yeah, it says something about them. But in that to deal with the Chargers, though, didn't they lose like 2 tackles and they've been out for a while? And they were pretty good, though, aren't they? Aren't the 2 tackles considered pretty good?
Yeah, my point is he was missing those 2 tackles, so their replacement sucked.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And he still took them to the playoffs.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
And so that outcome's not shocking given the fact that their offensive line play is that bad and the front seven of New England's actually better than maybe I thought they were. But I guess we'll see in the next round. Jack or Zach, any thoughts on this game? Sounds like
yeah.
Not really. You guys covered it.
Say it again, Jack.
I didn't think both offenses looked very good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to go off on a limb and just say, like, I think that the Houston Patriots game this upcoming weekend is going to be the exact same type of formula. Extremely low scoring, turnover bound. I just think that's the way that it's kind of going to be.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, so, Jack, I'm coming back to you with the last game of the weekend that we're going to talk about, the Bears-Packers. And I will say, we're on a group text together. I have some inside information that Rob, you were encouraging Jack to send in this, hey, I want to switch my pick. You annoyed him so much that he was very formal in his text to us.
He was, yes.
Right,
I told him he needed to go to the group so Zach would know for sure.
Yeah, all good. All right, Jack, thoughts on that game?
Yeah, I'm absolutely sick that the Bears keep getting away with this, and I can't stand it. I don't know how you give up 25 points in a singular quarter anyways in the NFL, considering like the defenses that these teams have. Neither one is great, but you can't stop anything. I mean, I don't understand. You're up 20, what was it? 21-3. You're up 21-3 at half. And then the third quarter stats for the Packers are 3 plays, -2 yards, a minute off the clock. 3 plays, 8 yards, a minute 40 off the clock, and 5 plays, 13 yards, 2.5 minutes off the clock in the third quarter. And then you're still up 21-6. After you played that bad, you're still up that much. And then you give up field goal, touchdown to end the game. So you give up, so 25 points, especially with the 2-point conversion and stuff. I understand they missed some field goals, Green Bay did, but that's kind of irrelevant considering you went 3 and out for -10 yards over 51 seconds. 6 plays for 54 yards. You scored a touchdown with 3 minutes, 32 seconds, and then you missed a field goal, but only took a minute and a half off the clock. And then Chicago goes down and scores a touchdown in a minute and 8 seconds. So the time of possession in the second half, I think it's a complete fail by the coaching staff. They took no time off the clock, and I think if you add 2 more minutes to that, I think that they somehow win the game. So I don't know. I thought that they played well until like the 3-minute mark in the third quarter, and then everything just went downhill.
Yeah, there's a school of thought that Rob, you and I are familiar with UVA football back in the 80s and 90s, where they played a prevent defense, and we used to joke that it prevented winning. So you can go all the way to, I'm just going to run the ball so I can knock 38 seconds off the clock every time. All right, Zach, you're on here twice, so give me a second to. All right, we're back. And so this idea of being that conservative, and then I think Green Bay's coaching staff, led by LaFleur, and I'm sure this was his approach. Oh, we're not going to be that way. We're going to be super aggressive and throw the ball a lot when maybe we should be running more. I think he went too far. The answer, like it almost is in every endeavor in life, is to find the balance given the situation. And what they did was atrocious. And obviously the result was atrocious, but you've got to play the third and fourth quarters like you played the first half. Just coach the game to outscore the other team and stop worrying about the clock too much, but don't ignore the clock, to your point, Jack. And Zach, you made a comment earlier. I think you put Patrick Mahomes throwing dimes with Caleb Williams in the same sentence. I don't think we took away from Caleb this season. He's been doing that this season.
It was specifically in reference to that 4th and 8 play.
Late game, wow, I can't believe he made that throw. All right, Zach, any other thoughts on that game?
No, Jack covered it pretty well.
I think Jack's going to be a coach someday. He broke. I mean, he's like 92 seconds on that drive. Idiots.
I mean, it just really feels like if they just run the ball one more time, a drive, and just swap out a pass, even if you go 3 and out, but you take off 40 more seconds, it just adds up enough to the point where you just don't put your defense in that position. Because going on the field for 50 seconds game time, which is probably an equivalent of maybe 4 or 5 minutes real time, and your defense just gives up a 10-play, 80-yard drive, they're gassed, and your offense can only do but give up 3 plays for 10 yards or 8 yards, and then they're off the field like that, it's not going to set you up for success. And no wonder they gave up touchdown to end the game, because they're just so tired. You're not giving them any rest.
Yeah, they had to be completely exhausted. I don't care if you have 2 really good guys at every position, they're still going to be tired in that scenario.
I mean, you could have the best conditioning in the world, but if you're on the field for what would be 30 minutes out of a 40-minute span, you're never going to win.
Yeah. I saw some stat that said since the beginning of the NFL, which I think, Zach, correct me if I'm wrong, started in the 1920s, maybe something like that. It was a post-World War I thing. Only 2 other times have a team scored that many points or more in a playoff game. I mean, that's the number 3 fourth quarter in NFL playoff history. That's crazy. You have to give Chicago some credit, but to Jack's points, you have to say, Green Bay, what in the world were you guys thinking?
Yeah.
And now LaFleur and Green Bay haven't signed a new deal yet, so see how that goes.
We'll take him.
I think he's a very well. No, your points, Jack. I can't make the comment I was about to make. I think he's a very good offensive mind, but maybe not in every scenario. Like that is generation. That's like all time really bad end of game coaching.
Yeah, I think if he comes back, I would not be surprised if there's a game manager position that opens up in Green Bay. Just timeouts and literally how to use your timeouts and how to tell them when to run the ball to take some time.
Kind of like what
I'm surprised that's not a thing already.
Yeah, you would think that most teams would have something like that.
Yeah.
Well, the first coach that I know famously, the team hired a game manager was Andy Reid because he just his brain stopped functioning with about 3 minutes left in the game. It was the wildest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, incredibly gifted offensive mind, but just could not manage the clock at the end of the game.
I mean, the Rams a few years ago had a guy that was just his whole job was just pull McVay from off the field anytime he stepped too far.
Yeah, I
don't know if that was his whole job, but during the games it was.
No, I wouldn't mind that job. I could do that job.
Yeah, make it 6 figures.
Sideline with McVay and just pull him off the white.
Yeah, I'd intentionally like pull him down to the ground and then act like it was a big accident.
You might get caught after doing that a few times.
I'd only do it twice during each season.
Okay.
No, I do it twice the first season, then once, maybe a couple seasons.
You trying to hurt him?
No, just want to make him feel like he's not that special.
What do you think's more important, a game manager or Sirianni having a bodyguard with a headset on next to him during the entire game?
Like, dude, nobody's trying to hurt you because you're not that important. Nobody cares, dude.
Big Dom running up and down the sideline with a headset on.
Dude, I've disliked the NFC East my entire life, except for the Giants because I married a Giants fan. I was kind of indifferent to the Giants, but now I'm a fan because I kind of have to be. But I think I dislike Philly as much as I dislike Washington and Dallas, and I didn't think I would ever say that. All right, Robin,
easy to like, that's for sure.
Yeah, Rob, any fun facts this week?
No.
You if you want to come up with one before we stop recording, that's fine. All right, Zach, hit us with the playoffs. Who's first? Is it Rob? I guess it doesn't matter. We'll have to start somewhere because we're not.
We're not doing the.
Nobody's eating a team.
All right, game 1 is Buffalo at Denver.
Who wants to start?
I already put mine down. I got Buffalo.
All right.
Yeah, I second that. I'll take Buffalo too.
I got Buffalo.
Yeah, I don't need to be different this week, even though I think Denver's going to give them something. Denver's got a very talented defense.
They do. But it's Josh Allen's here.
So everybody says.
All right. Next up, San Fran at Seattle.
Wow. Jack, this is you.
I mean, I have a real good feeling that I'm going to end up just sending another text right before kickoff. But as of right now, I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm going to take San Fran. I think that they looked much better than I expected them to with all the injuries and all that. So I count on myself sending that text at about 6:30 on Saturday. But as of right now, I'll take San Fran. I'm quite impressed by Saleh.
Before we go, Rob, your pick. I'm trying to remember. I know Seattle obviously won the last matchup because they got the 1 seed and they won the division. But who won the first game they played?
I think San Fran won the first game.
So they split.
Yeah.
So this is anybody's game, and I agree, Jack, to your sentiment that you might change your mind before kickoff. I mean, this is a classic coin flip in the divisional round. All right, Rob, what do you got?
Yeah, I got the 49ers. I think it's going to be a knockdown drag out, but I thought about, they did split. I agree with Jack that I thought San Francisco looked good this past weekend. I think they did what they needed to do when they needed to do it. And yeah, I just think they're a little more seasoned in most of the spots. So I'm going with 49ers.
Yeah. The bye week can be really, really good or really, really bad. The Seahawks strike me as a team that should have played last week to keep themselves in rhythm. They don't seem like a team that would benefit from a bye week. Because of that, I want to say San Francisco, but I'm going to say Seattle. Seattle's more talented, and I think if Darnold can limit the game to one or no more than 2 interceptions, then I think Seattle can win and will win.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Seattle will win. Yeah, I think it really just comes down to how Sam Darnold plays. I think the better team right now is Seattle, just because San Fran's dealing with a whole host of injuries. And they're the home team, and Seattle's not an easy place to play. So I'll take Seattle.
And what's amazing about Seattle is I could probably name 27 or 28 NFL head coaches. I should be able to name all of them. The Seattle coach, I can never remember his name, but he's done a really nice job in his tenure there.
Mike McDonald.
There he is. Pretty forgettable name.
Paul, who'd you pick?
I picked Seattle.
Okay.
I was speaking like I was going to pick San Fran, but then I pivoted at the very end.
That's why I was confused. I can't keep up with you.
I like to keep you on your toes, Rob.
I appreciate that.
All right. Houston at New England.
Oh. I think the Texans are going to beat the crap out of them. They're not going to score a lot of points to Jack's earlier comment, but I think the Texans' defense is going to wreck New England's offense, and it's going to be a slugfest. It probably ends up being a less than 6-point game, but I think Houston's got them. And by the way, this is the dark horse that Jack brought up weeks ago, and I think they're even better than the dark horse deep playoff team that we thought they were going to be.
Yep, agreed.
I think I'm the only person here who thinks New England is actually a good team. So I'm taking New England. I was talking to Dad a few days ago, and he was telling me about how he thinks they're a paper tiger still, and I don't know. I think they've destroyed too many bad teams. I know their schedule was by far the easiest of any team this year, but they were blowing out teams that they should have blown out, but they weren't close games. So I think they'll win this game. I've taken. That's not true, actually. But I'm taking the home team again. I just don't think Houston's offense looked very good last week. Their defense looked incredible, but historically, over the last few years, it's been better offensives that have won the big games. So,
yeah, Jack, before you go, I'll just say this. Zach made a really good point there with they're blowing these teams out, which really means we don't know who they are. When they play competition, we just don't know what we're going to get. We're either going to get the paper tiger or we're going to get this juggernaut that we really didn't see coming because they hadn't played anybody yet. And teams like that have won Super Bowls before. So we'll see. Sorry. Go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, just based off the way that the two games went, I think Houston's probably riding a little bit more momentum just based off going into Pittsburgh and winning handily. So I'm going to just go ahead and keep riding them as the hot horse here. And I think that they're kind of destined to go to the AFC Championship.
Yep, I'm going to go with Texans as well.
All right, so Zach, here's what just happened. I picked the Texans because I think their defense is just going to wreak havoc. Jack and Rob Dole just picked the team that beat their team, and they're hoping that if the Texans win the whole thing, they could say we were beaten by the Super Bowl champs. That's what just happened.
Hey, well, we get that for Ohio State, so it's kind of either way at this point.
That's right, yeah.
So we'll
Nice.
go 2 for 2 this year.
Yeah, we might go 2 for 2 in that range.
Nice.
All right. Last game, LA at Chicago.
That's you, Zach.
I think we skipped Rob going first, but
Oh,
I can go
sorry.
first again.
Did I go first prematurely? Let's
I think
let
so.
Rob go first.
Okay.
Okay, I've already had all these written out. I'm going with the Rams. I think the Bears, like Jack was, getting these wins, like the way they've been getting some of these wins. I just think it's going to come to an end. I think the Rams are ready to make it to the NFC Championship. I think they lose to either Seattle or 49ers, whoever they play, but I think they make it. I think they beat the Bears this weekend.
Yeah, I think the Rams are too talented. I expect that any lack of rhythm they had with these guys coming back from injuries, especially Devontae, that looks different against the Bears. The Bears have had a fantasy season, especially given how they played last year. I just don't trust the Bears in a big game against a very talented Rams team. So yeah, I agree with Rob. I'll go Rams.
I'm playing a dangerous game here by picking Chicago, but I'm going to take Chicago for fun. And also, I think they're a good football team. That they did not deserve to win last week against a Packers team that's honestly not that good to begin with. But whatever Ben Johnson's got going on over there is working. They're winning close games somehow. Caleb is playing above average, and they've just got a whole bunch of talent. So I'm going to take Chicago for fun and because I think they're good. I think they're better than we're giving them credit for.
All right, Jack.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Rams. I'm not really too fond of either team necessarily. I think the way that the Rams looked last week, I didn't like it, but I don't think that the Bears would be able to come back down 21-3 against the Rams either. So I think it's just kind of playing with fire for both teams right now. So I'm going to go ahead and just stay with the Rams. I think that they're just better all around. And yeah, that's kind of my thing. I just think that their defense is better, and I'm just going to rely on their defense to get a stop at the end of the game.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about the NFC overall, the NFC West was by far the classiest division. I mean, the most accomplished division. And when you look at the other three, you're kind of like the NFC South, you're like, they're trash. NFC East, you're like, meh, your best team. Nobody really had a whole lot of faith coming into the playoffs. And then the NFC North, halfway through the season, you're like, there's three really competitive teams. And it ended up you have one competitive team that people don't trust. But if the Bears win this game, I'll be a believer.
Agreed.
I think if the NFL is rigged, we're going to see Buffalo, Chicago.
I get Buffalo. Why Chicago?
Caleb's the next big thing the NFL wants to push. That's my logic.
All right. Is he still putting fingernail polish on his fingers?
I'm pretty sure I asked Jack this weekend. I was like, what is that? Or maybe it was you, Gilly. What time was that game? We didn't watch that.
That
on
was
Sunday
Saturday night.
Yeah, I think I said it to you, Gilly, when we were there. I was like, what is that on his finger? I'm pretty sure it was like black fingernail polish. So
somebody didn't hug him enough as a child. He needed you in his life, Rob.
There you go. I would have done that. So, hey, all right. So trivia fun. Take guesses. How many 1 yard touchdowns? So touchdowns from the 1 yard line rushing does Jalen Hurts now have?
In his career?
Career, yeah. He had 8
regular season and playoffs.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I mean it's career. Yeah. So yeah, he had eight rushing TDs this year.
Oh wow!
But 8 rushing touchdowns, not 1 yard touchdowns.
Well, I don't know exactly. This is based on how many 1 yard touchdowns he's had. So touchdowns from the 1 yard line, mainly dealing with the tush push.
I was going to say 25 before you said that 8, but it's making me think it's more. So I'll say 30.
You're on the right track. All right. Gil, you got a guess?
28.
You already know. You looked over my shoulder?
Yeah, you pointed it out to me.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
I want y'all to guess, except the person who can see over my shoulder, and then I pointed to my screen for them to see.
That's right. I forgot.
I'm not a screen peeker. He just literally he was like, look at this.
Sorry. 41.
Oh my God.
41. Yep. 40. Hurts hit 41 career rushing TDs from the 1 yard line, an NFL record. And I know I'm not supposed to mention this, comma, noted for fantasy relevance.
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't get penalized as heavily as Zach does for fantasy comments.
Okay, sweet. I like that. So
you will be penalized.
Who traveled the most this year? Which team traveled the most, and which team traveled the least?
Seattle traveled the most.
Don't forget international games.
Oh, I can't remember. He even played those crappy games.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh.
Nope.
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
I'm not gonna make you guess a whole lot. No, not Jacksonville. Good guess.
Have you already pointed to your screen for Jack to see it?
I have not pointed at that. No. You want to take
Miami?
A guess? I like how you're going with coast teams. The AFC is a coast team.
So it's in the AFC.
It's two AFC teams. One the most, one the least. Quick guesses, and then I'll tell you.
Chargers.
Chargers are the most. Went to Brazil. That probably helped.
Oh yeah.
The Patriots.
Houston.
Bengals. Bengals traveled the least. The Bungles.
All right.
I've got a trivia question. I don't know if you guys have seen this yet, but which current NFL head coach has more career rushing yards than Bo Jackson?
Harbaugh with the Chargers.
Harbaugh.
Ah, you guys saw that, yeah?
We all saw it, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
that was crazy when I saw that. That's an insane
you know how many more he's got?
5.
Yep, correct. Yeah, 5.
Yeah, Bo played for a few seasons. Harbaugh played for like 15.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, when you put it like that, yeah, it makes sense. But looking back, I forget that Bo didn't play much, and then
when you see Harbaugh's glasses and his khaki pants, it doesn't scream rushing yards.
Yeah.
All right, good times. By the way, am I the only one who gets annoyed watching a Bengals game and the color commentator, whatever they call them now, the analyst, can't say Bengals. They say Bengals. I heard it multiple times this year. Drives me crazy.
Is it not Bengals?
Bengals.
Bengals?
They were saying, no, I'm saying Bengals, like an E sound.
Like a tiger.
And they're saying like the band from the 90s, Bangles.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Or in the bangle, isn't that a piece of jewelry too, I think, or something like that? I don't know. But anyway. Yes, I remember that, Gilly, and it is not – it's like, dude, know how to pronounce the freaking team. It's a Bengal tiger. That's why they got tiger stripes on their freaking helmet.
Who's not telling the analyst how to pronounce the team nickname?
That's a failure by the producer.
All right, hey, Jack, when do you find out where you're going to be? Like after training, mid-training?
I got to pick my spot, so I just decided to stick with DC.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, I'm going to stop the recording. Very happy for you, Jack. Zach, sorry you're in a training room 8 hours a day for the next 5 months. And here's to some fun games this coming weekend.
But no more midnights for Zach right now, so that's a good thing.
Not for a while, yeah.
I didn't mind those, actually.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to wherever you listen to podcasts. We'd also really appreciate if you'd rate and review us. You can find us at scodupodcast.com.